So last time we made this machine, but as you can see, it's kind of stopped. Now, first of all, what is this machine? Well, this makes me my precision mechanisms create automatically, or at least it did do. So this thing's been running for a couple of days, or was running for a couple of days, and we should really have about maybe 5,000 precision mechanisms, but we don't. We only have about 360, if that. But it seems to be taking the cogs, the large cogs and the iron nuggets onto the conveyor belt above and trying to feed it into the smart chute, which obviously isn't going to work because it's filtered with the gold plates. So what I think is actually happening here is I think the pipes behind going from the drawer into the employers getting kind of confused, and they're trying to put them on the conveyor belt, although it shows that it's not connected to the conveyor belt in any such way. I think what we're gonna have to do is maybe change out these pipes for modular routers, and we'll try that. If not, worst case scenario, all we have to do is move the conveyor belt up by one block away from the pipes, and it should work then, hopefully. So in today's video, there's a couple of things I want to do. One, obviously fix this machine. Two, I kind of want to make a automatic brass casing farm as well, because we do need one of those to automatically craft the mechanical arm. But also, we have had this ALLTHEMODIUM alloy blade now for ages, and we've been using unobtainium tools. Well, I think it's kind of time that we upgrade that and we go to a PAXEL. Instead of taking up 4 inventory slots, it's only going to take up the 1. But I don't want to use the tools and stuff that we have because I think those are kind of cool to keep. And plus, I don't want to lose all the enchantments on these tools in case we ever need them for whatever purpose or reason at the end. So without further ado, let's go. So of course, a new set of tools are in order. So we take these diamond tools and we upgrade them to netherite, netherite to ALLTHEMODIUM, ALLTHEMODIUM to vibranium, vibranium up to unobtainium. Now that is where we'll have to leave it for now because we're going to need all of the alloy ingots. And we're going to want 4 of each, 1 for each tool. And the first one we're going to make here is the vibranium to unobtainium alloy. And this can be done in the dissolution chamber. We have made this before because obviously we have the ALLTHEMODIUM alloy blade. But just to recap, to get this, you just need some soul lava, some unobtainium, vibranium, a couple of pink slime balls, and a couple of piglet hearts. And we need to do that 4 times. Once that was done, we could then set them aside and start on the next alloy, which is the unobtainium ALLTHEMODIUM alloy. Now we can do this with the enchanting apparatus in the Ars mod, which we have back at our tower. And again, this is just very simple. Unobtainium, ALLTHEMODIUM, a couple of piglet hearts, source gems, water, air, fire, and earth essence. And we can get ourselves some unobtainium to ALLTHEMODIUM alloy. Again, we needed to do this 4 times. So once we have all those, we could then store those away. Now, the one that I thought would take the longest is the vibranium to ALLTHEMODIUM alloy, because it uses power and FE and things like that. I thought it was just going to take a while to get. But what I ended up doing was destroying our little setup that we have back at our very first house, upgrading the rods all the way up to nitro, and then connecting it up to my main power from the house. And it actually made it pretty quickly because within a few seconds we had all 4, and that was all the alloy ingots that we needed. The next thing we need is the Eternal Stellars. Now these are very easy to get. All you need is a hell of a lot of petrified orbs from Forbidden Arcanus. Where you get them is just by throwing some experience in a black hole and it'll spit out these petrified orbs. We just need some ALLTHEMODIUM and some Stellarite as well. All things that we have. We can go over to our Forbidden Arcanus altar and make a load of Eternal Stellars. So while that's making all of our Eternal Stellars, we can go ahead and get all of the Dragon Scales. Now the first one we're going to want, and we need 4 of each of these again, is the Golden Dragon Scale, the Silver Dragon Scale, and the Aquatic Dragon Scale. And once we have all of those, we could then start making the ALLTHEMODIUM alloy tools, which I have neatly laid out how we're going to get them in our backpack with all the items and tools lined up together. So we just throw all those things inside of the Forbidden Arcanus altar, with making sure the tool goes in the middle, and then we just tap it with the gavel and it'll start spinning and changing all of our tools into the ALLTHEMODIUM alloy variation. And once we had those, to actually obtain the PAXEL, we then needed all of the prism dusts and stuff from Arcanus. So the first one we're going to make is the smelter prism, which is just a few blaze powder, an arcane block, and a couple of coal inside of the altar. Smack it with a gavel, and out pops a smelter prism. The next prism we're going to make is a whirlwind prism, which is a wool block, a couple of feathers, a little bit of phantom membrane, and a bat wing. Smack it with a gavel, out pops a whirlwind prism. The next prism we're going to get is the sea prism, which is just the heart of the sea. Lapis lazuli, some prism shards, and some turtle scoots. Smack it with the gavel, bang, we get our sea prism. And the final prism that we need to make is the terror stomp prism, which is just a gold block, some dripstones, some dripstone blocks, and a couple of flint. Smack it with a gavel and we'll get ourselves the terror stomp prism. Now I thought that was absolutely everything until I saw the center item, and that center item was an awakened Supremium PAXEL, which wasn't a problem up until you get to the Supremium tools. And once we have the Supremium tools, it's then onto the awakened Draconium. However, we don't have a way or a means to make this yet. Now, of course, we have the awakening altar set up, but it's the awakened Supremium essence that we don't actually have. And the only way to get the awakened Supremium essence right now is by getting this cognizant dust, which we can get by killing either the Ender Dragon or the Wither with a mystical enlightenment sword. But it has to be on one of the mystical agriculture swords. So I'll catch you back when we've got all the awakened Supremium that we're going to need to make our PAXEL. Okay, so you join me back now. I have the PAXEL. I have all the other items that we're going to need. The only thing we're going to do now is head back over to our Forbidden setup. Throw all the items on the correct pedestals. So all of the alloy tools on the pedestals and the prisms on the pedestals and the PAXEL in the center on the altar. And after a couple of seconds, out pops our PAXEL. Now, luckily for me, when we complete the quest, we actually get an enchanted book with pretty much maxed out enchantments that we're going to want on there anyway. So it's just a case of slapping the PAXEL and the book in an anvil and applying those enchantments. However, there's a few enchantments that we haven't got, which I can live without for now. But now that we have the PAXEL, let's go fix this create machine. So I have everything we're going to need to get rid of the pipes in terms of the modular routers and the modules that we're going to need. And as I went to the back to have a look, turns out the pipes were connected to the conveyor belt. I don't know why this was the case, because in the intro it never showed that they were connected. Must have been a visual bug thing. Either way, we're going to eliminate this from ever happening again by just simply using some modular routers. So I set up all of the modular routers to pull from the drawers and send straight into the deployers. And that should be problem solved. Very simple, very quick. Just don't forget to put in the upgrades, the stack upgrades and the speed upgrades. And then we can unclog the conveyor belt and it worked fine. Hasn't stopped. I even let it run for a little bit. It still hasn't stopped. So it's perfect. Let's go make the automatic brass casing machine. And this machine is rather quite simple. It's not as complex as the precision mechanism. It shouldn't take that long to set up. Once we had powered the electric motor and the thing was spinning, giving the machine the rotation that it needs, we could try it out by throwing down a log, and we could see that the mechanical saw was stripping the log and the deployer was turning it into a casing, and it was getting thrown straight into this drawer, which means it's all working absolutely fine. So the only thing left to do now is to, one, supply it with a boatload of logs, and two, supply it with a boatload of brass. And the best way I know how to do this is with mystical agriculture. So I went ahead and made a load of brass seeds and some wood seeds as well. Once they had grown, we had fed those into a crafter, which is where I'll craft one of two things, the brass and oak logs. And then the modular routers will pull out those two items and send it into the correct drawer. So one modular router will pull out brass, the other one will pull out logs, and send it straight into the drawers that it needs to go into, meaning this whole machine was now self-sufficient. So we are automating two parts of the mechanical arms, and if I'm being honest, two of the worst parts. It's not hard to get the brass plates, and it's not hard to get the andesite ingots, but that's where I'm going to leave off today's video. So thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button, consider subscribing if you are new, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Goodbye.